Hi y'all, Tracey, Trials of Long-Haired Girl here. I am coming on for an update. I'll be real honest, this April challenge has not gone the way I anticipated at all. At all. No, this does not mean that I have stopped trying, but just to kind of fill you in. He did put me back in the brace, but he said I didn't have to wear the brace when I was doing light things. And I'm guessing when I'm recording, that's probably a light thing. Weight-wise, I am up to a number that I don't want to even see. To that end, I downloaded the Happy Scale app now that I've switched to an iPhone. And I've been weighing most every day. I think I've missed one day. But yeah, here's kind of the update. I had 2 PT sessions, the last of which was March the 31st. On April Fool's Day, I went back to see my ortho, who did another exam on my shoulder and my wrist and said, I don't really like what I'm still seeing. I need you to go have an MRI. Fast forward to Friday, I get a call from the hospital where I have to go have my MRI. They said, I can get you in on Monday. I said, let's do it. So my sweet husband took off a little early and went with me to Carrollton, which is where the hospital is for me to get the MRI. I'm in the middle of the MRI, and if you're personal friends with me on Facebook, you've probably already seen this, but I'm wearing a sports bra, which I've been wearing a lot of since COVID started. Like, that's what I wear 90% of the time. Except, like, if I'm dressing up for something. So, I am in the MRI machine. And it just barely gets started. And all of a sudden, my music cuts off because he had jazz going in my headphones for me. My music cuts off. And I start feeling myself being pulled out. I'm like, He says, Miss Walton, are you wearing a bra with like the metal adjuster to it? And I'm like, no. He's like, are you sure there's nothing like metal in your bra? And I'm like, well, can I promise you? No, I can't. But I'm wearing a sports bra, and I actually, pulled out part of my sports bra and showed him, and he's like, He's like, because I have an anomaly showing up on the screen. He's like, but you're sure you're not wearing it? And I'm like, well, I mean, if you're asking me to sign my name in blood, no, but I'm fairly certain that the sports bras don't have anything like that in them. Okay. So he puts me back in, he starts the music again. I'm in there, he does, I think, one pass maybe. He comes back, my music stops, he pulls me out again. He says, Mrs. Walton, I really think that there's something going on. Can you please just go change into this gown, go remove your bra. He said, you can keep your t-shirt on, but, you can put this gown on. So, I'll be real honest, I pulled everything off. I walked out there in my gown and my skirt and bike shorts. Because I was like, I'm not risking this again. So, he actually had to run some different scans, he said, in order for this thing to not show up. But he showed me on the screen, and basically, like, there was one spot where it just looked like a spot. And then all of a sudden, as it's moving, my shoulder just turns like glow in the dark. So I call my mother's youngest sister. I called my dad. I texted my cousin, my best friend. Nobody can remember anything happening. So then I posted on my personal Facebook page, and I'm like, does anybody remember anything happening to me? Because the guy, as we're walking out, the guy says, are you sure you've never been shot with a BB or had a sibling come up and stick you with something? I'm like, dude, I'm an only child. I got nothing. So the only thing that really came close is a friend posted that she remembered me having an accident on the trampoline at one point and my mom had to pick me up, but that it couldn't have been too bad because my mom brought me, I was back in like a day or two. So I was like, okay, thanks. I'll just wait and see what the ortho says. So every day this week I had something going on, pretty much. Monday was my MRI. I had a follow-up with my allergy doctor on Tuesday. Wednesday I had a dental appointment because of my mouth guard. They're having to test where I am. Then Thursday I was back at the ortho. I'll fill you in on that in a minute. Then tomorrow, Saturday, I have my eye doctor appointment, and both of my dogs have to go back to the vet. So definitely a busy week for me. And today, actually, my husband and I went and got a new post office box. So the number that's been in any video before this one is no longer correct, the P.O. box number. But this one will be correct. So it's been a very crazy week. I've been in, I've been out. So basically the ortho has said that I have a 50% tear in the tendon of my rotator cuff and shoulder. So he is going to have to do surgery to repair that. He said, quite honestly, if I were 15 years older, surgery would not be really on the table. He would be hesitant to do it. Because he said the healing process as you get older, it's harder. So based on kind of what he said and what I know from my pain level, and what I saw my mother experience. My mother had rotator cuff surgery. I am about 5 years younger than she was when she had her surgery. But I remember her very clearly telling me that this was the most painful surgery she had ever had in her life. Because of where it is, and my ortho, who I respect greatly, actually looked at me and said in no uncertain terms, this is going to be the most painful surgery of your life. He said, this is going to hurt. I'm not going to tell you it's not. He said, and initially, when you go home, that first little bit is going to be really hard because you can't really breathe without moving your shoulder. He said, you're probably going to want to make sure that you have a recliner. If you don't already have one, you're going to want to get one because that's probably going to be where you're most comfortable. So, I am currently scheduled for surgery on April the 28th. Next week, I have an appointment with my cardiologist to try to go through that process to get approved because my ortho doesn't want to do the surgery without a letter of medical clearance from my cardiologist, and he wants to see blood work. So Monday I go to my cardiologist to follow up with him and kind of see where we are. Tuesday I am I'm going back to my primary care physician to get that done, get the blood work done, and then I'll kind of see where I am, from there. The cardiologist's office said that I was probably going to have another stress test, so I'm going to have to see what my doctor says, because my ortho said just an EKG. My cardiologist's office said that my doctor won't clear me without another stress test. So we'll see what happens. But my great hope is that I can get all of that taken care of, and then I go in on the 22nd to meet up with my ortho and sign all the papers and do all of that. So, in the spirit of honesty, the anxiety and fear and all is kind of kicking in. I'm nervous about this because I remember what my mom experienced and conversations with her about how painful it was. She had her rotator cuff surgery shortly after I had my hysterectomy. Like, I had finally just gone back to work. So it was probably 6 to 8 weeks-ish when she had her back surgery, or when she had her rotator cuff surgery. So, yeah. So here is my question for all of you. If you have any good suggestions, and I've gotten some from people on my Facebook page and in my Facebook group, if you have suggestions for meals or things that I could prep, because I'm going to try to have my husband help me in the next couple of weeks so that we can be prepared with some casseroles or some freezer meals that we can throw in the slow cooker, things like that we can put together relatively easily, because he's going to have a lot on his plate helping me. And I would like to take some of that burden off. My daughter has agreed kindly to come and braid my hair before surgery, so that will be one less thing I have to worry about. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting for the next little while. He said that it can take me up to 8 months to fully heal from this surgery. So I'm not really looking forward to that part, but I'm ready to not be in pain. That will be a big bonus. But again, if you have any suggestions for freezer meals, tips and tricks to using my left hand a little more easily, I have already realized that I'm probably going to have to give up my Fitbit, because I now kind of understand a little more why people who are left-handed wear their watches and stuff on their right hand, and I can't wear it on my right hand because I'm going to be in the brace. I'm of the impression that I'm going to be in the brace. I'm going to get more information on this, but that I'm going to be in the immobilizing brace for at least a couple weeks, possibly up to 6. He also said that I would not be able to drive during that time, so thankfully my bosses have agreed to let me work from home. And my ortho said that I can move my fingers, I just can't move my arm. Like, I can't move my shoulder. It's going to be stuck in one place. I know I'm going to have to go through therapy again, so I am fully prepared for that. I will do my best to kind of keep everybody updated on my journey, but know this, if I don't post a video, if I'm not on here, Kim and Joan I talk to at least once or twice a week, if not more, so they can probably fill you in on how I'm doing, because I talk to them pretty regularly on a personal level. So yeah, I'm already trying to make lists and figure out what I'm going to have to do. And yeah, it's going to be a stressful couple of weeks. I'm really hoping that if I plan things right, if I plan them well, that I can at least focus on not gaining so much weight while I really can't move. And that's part of my struggle, I think, currently, is I'm not really able to move as much as I would like because I hurt. So it's going to be a bit of a process. I'm definitely thinking I need to watch what I'm eating so that I can make sure that I'm focusing on what I need to do. To that end, I also know I really need to get back to tracking. But it's hard to track when not everybody who is helping me is as proactive about weighing and measuring and whatnot. It's just something not everybody else does. But since I've not been doing so well, I'm just going to be real honest, I don't think I've hit a blue dot at all this month. But I'm going to shoot for 5 days next week. It's going to take some planning. But I'm still going to try to do 3 days of physical therapy at least. And trying to get some sort of a 30-minute workout in. I've been a little lax. I did get one day where I had at least 20 minutes worth of stepping. I turned on a YouTube video, and even though I wasn't necessarily watching them, and I wasn't really able to do the arm movements because my shoulder hurts, I did at least focus on the movement part of it, and making sure that I was walking. And most of the time, I'll be honest, it probably looked more like this. Because I was standing at my computer half the time and focusing on what was on my screen. So that's kind of what's going on with me. I am, since I said that I wanted to try to do a tag once a month, definitely need to try to get that figured out and scheduled so that I can do something before I go in for surgery, because yeah, after surgery is probably that's not gonna happen for at least a couple weeks. So anyway, if you have any suggestions for good freezer meals or casseroles that freeze well, crock pot meals, instant pot meals, anything like that, leave it down below, because I know I'm going to need some help. Anyway, that's kind of my update. I hope everybody has a great day. Have a wonderful weekend, and I will hopefully see you next week to fill you in on how things are going. I'll talk to you soon.